Hey guys, hey, how are you? Good evening, good evening. Sorry to be a bit late. I was just doing some last minute stuff that went beyond the time I expected them to finish, but I am here now and I am very, very happy to be joining you for this hour 72 hours fast. Who's excited? I am. I am really excited. I'm looking forward to this and I hope it will go very well. And I hope that the few people who committed themselves to doing this, that you are also feeling excited and you're going to be okay. You're going to be just fine. Don't worry yourself. You're going to be fine. Making the decision to do this fast is the first step in changing your life, in you know making things better for your body, for your health. And I hope you will be able to reap that reward. I hope you will really reap the reward of making this small sacrifice to go on a 3-day water fast. What is a water fast? It means that you're not eating anything else except drinking water, right? Who is brave enough? Who is strong enough? Who is determined enough? Who has enough faith that that can work for them? So, my name is Evadne. If you're just joining me for the first time and you have no idea who I am the CEO of Immaculately Wellness and Immaculately Teas, and I am the the plant-based lifestyle coach for Immaculately Wellness. So this is a journey that started over a week ago when we had our 7-day fasting challenge. That was intermittent fasting. Uh, it went well. Some people participated, some people started and dropped out, some people kind of pushed themselves a little bit. But we want to continue to sensitize the community about the benefits of fasting and how much you can achieve from fasting. So we want to keep doing these so that we can get the maximum benefit. Personally, I do benefit a lot from fasting. I was putting on these things this evening and already saw that they were fitting better than they did, not long ago, which means that the weight loss is happening. I am feeling good. My skin glows. I feel fantastic. I'm a mid 50s person, but I still enjoy good skin, good energy level, a fairly balanced metabolism. I don't have many or most of the things that people have at this age, including hot flashes, right? Um, I am not bothered by a lot of the challenges that ladies my age have, and I have to really be thankful for that and credit my good eating habit for a lot of these things because I didn't just start eating healthy yesterday. I've been eating healthy most of my life. All right, so I have a few things that I would love to start with in terms of what this means. Oh, let me set my clock here so that we can have a ticker that's ticking every day so I know how many hours I have left. And so let me see, stopwatch. We're gonna do 72 hours. Hold, hang on there. Timer. Plus 72, 0, 0. All right. So I have set up my timer here on my phone to start my 72 hours. It's 8:22, and I'm just gonna go ahead because I started fasting since about 6:30 anyway. So I'm just gonna go ahead right here, and we are set. Right, we are off. Um, in 72 hours is when we're gonna finish this fast. All right, so we're gonna do this journey, and I'll tell you honestly how I feel from time to time. Um, you know, if it's challenging, if I'm craving stuff, if I'm feeling weak, if I get headache, if I have excessive thirst, if um, I'm going to the bathroom regularly, what's going on. So you will have an idea of what the journey is like. Now, for you, it might not be the exact experience as mine, right? Because people's bodies behave different, and so we can expect some variation in what might happen. I know Michelle said that she was jumping into the fasting, so I'm hoping that she's here. Michelle, if you're here, just give us a comment. Just drop something in the comment section to let me know you're with me. And Miss Tatlin was also going to start the fasting as well. So if either of you ladies are here, just put something in the comments so I know you're here. Um, yeah, so we are off, and I wish everyone good luck who is doing this with me, right? And I also wish myself good luck because yeah, let's see how strong we can be, our tolerance level, um, how persistent I can be, or all of us can be. Uh, but we also should understand that the mind will play a big role in this. The mind will trick you into doing or feeling the way that you allow it to. So the best thing to do is to stay busy. You need to work out, eh, especially in the first few hours. Do some light exercises so that you can kick your body into ketosis as fast as possible. So we burn off all the fat and not the starch. We need to get rid of. I hope we did not eat a high starch diet before we start, because that would slow us, progressing, because the body has to get rid of that first, before we go into ketosis. But I'm really looking forward to this, and I think I'm going to do well. And I think the persons who said that they would do this, I really believe that they will do well. But in case you have to fall off for any reason, don't beat up on yourself. You could just start over, start over, and push yourself, right? Don't beat up on yourself. Don't start to drop out, but just in case something dramatic happens and you have to drop out, don't beat up on yourself. There's always starting over, right? You're doing this for yourself. It's not a competition. You're not competing with anyone, right? You're just doing this for yourself and your own good health. Um, Something to note though. Uh, I I did a mammogram recently, and I usually have like cysts in my breast, and they've been there for years. They're not quote unquote harmful, but they've been there, and I did a mammogram recently, and they were like, "Oh, it's a different lab, it's a different place, so they're not used to these, and they don't know what to do, and they're like rushing in, and oh, you need to come in for another examination so we can analyze what we see there or whatever." And they were concerned that one of the cysts seemed a little bit big, and so they wanted you to come in, and I just said to my doctor, no, I will do the test, but I'm not going to do it right away. Give me a month, and I'll come back and do this test because I know that within a month a lot could change in your body, right? So, um, I was feeling my bust today, like where I knew that cyst was, that might have been a little bit too big, that they were concerned about, because I could feel it. You would squeeze it and you would feel, the little discomfort. And I was feeling it, and I didn't feel that today, right? I didn't feel that today because I was fasting over the last, I just finished a 7-day intermittent fasting. So your body can heal itself. It does, right? I'm not saying it's gone completely, but it certainly does not feel the way it did 2 weeks ago, right? So you have to take control of your health. You cannot just leave everything to the doctors and what they want to do. You have to allow your body to heal itself. And the more you know and the more you understand your body, it's going to be the better for you and your health, right? I will go back and do this test maybe in a month's time. But after all these fasting and all of these things, I'm sure they will be fine. I'm sure they will be fine, right? All right, so you cut back on the sweets and you do all of these things that you need to do. You make sure your body is in an alkaline state as much as possible, and you will do so much better, right? But we are in control of a lot of things, and we pretend we don't know, and we pretend they don't matter. But a lot of times we are in control. But do we act like we are in control? No, a lot of times we act like we don't. We just keep stuffing things in our mouths and act like it doesn't matter when we are just eating ourselves into an early grave. So take note and pay attention. Pay attention to your body and pay attention. Read, listen, learn, right? And be proactive when it comes onto your body, right? Don't leave it up to the doctor alone. The doctor is just there to advise you, but you have to be proactive. You have to choose. And when you choose, you have to act upon that, right? See, being healthy is not automatic. It's not automatic. You have to take care of yourself, right? You have to go out, find enough information that you need to keep yourself healthy, and you have to follow through with them. So I have a few or two things that I want you to listen to. Uh, Let me see. Okay, so this is a preparation for water fasting, right? This video is by Healthy Alternative, right? And yeah, Healthy Alternative. And this is a video that is what, 12 minutes long. They're talking about preparing for water fast. So I'm gonna let you guys listen in on this.
Water fast. We're missing a piece of the puzzle. You start getting healthy and you just become a better person. We need to start focusing more on the individual. So today I just wanted to go over how to prep for a water fast because we've been doing this 21-day challenge for the past couple of months. I am seeing how so many people, although you all have been following the channel for a while, by the way, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, and everything else, all right? But you all have been watching for a while, but somehow some of the fundamental parts of what we teach are missed, probably because they're not the most flashy videos in the world. So we're seeing the benefit of people paying attention to the prep process. So I decided today we're going to kind of break it down, and I'm going to keep this one short.
I've been getting paid $1,000 a month, if not more, just from this app on my phone. And I don't know if you can...
So, number one, when you're looking to prep for a water fast, what you want to do is focus on hydration. Hydration is the key to cellular detoxification as well as your overall weight loss, right? So if you're fasting for the purposes of weight loss, this is very important. If you're fasting for the purposes of reversing a disease, this is very important. If you're fasting because you have low energy or cognitive issues, this is very, as a matter of fact, no matter what, hydration is important. So we have learned through, being conditioned that we are supposed to drink our water. That is the primary way that we typically drink water. What I want you all to do is focus on not just drinking your water, but eating your water as well. You've heard this a million times before, but the way that you get the most optimum water is by either eating it or you can add plant material to your water. So this is where infused water would come in really, really handy. So the way you infuse water is you get your favorite, fruit, whatever, vegetable or whatever case may be. Could be mint, it could be cucumber, it could be key lime, which is probably what I would recommend, key lime. And you slice it up and you let it steep, cold steep in water for about 4 hours. This is going to help to restructure the water, clean it, and also make it more hydrating for the body. You can also do the sun water technique, which I have talked about many, many times. That's where you basically start with a pure base of water, so distilled water or even reverse osmosis. You could do it with spring water, I guess. And you're going to put it outside in a clear glass jar and you're going to let it sit for a minimum of 4 hours if you have direct sunlight, or 8 hours if you have like a cloudy day. And then you can leave it outside for up to 2-3 days, no problem. I have my water on a 3-day cycle. So that's also going to help to make the water more hydrating for you. Ultimately, if you eat your water, meaning watermelon, apples, peaches, plums, or cucumbers, for example, bell peppers, things with a lot of water content, you're going to get a much better result because plants readily make cellular water, and cellular water is what hydrates you. Okay, so if you've ever just drank a gallon of water, let's say over the period of like 2 hours, you've noticed that you're just constantly running to the bathroom. Understand you are peeing all of that water that you drank out. So it's not actually absorbing into you, it's just simply flowing through you. Okay. So, step two to your prep. Okay. You want to skip breakfast. This is very important. They tricked us. They told us breakfast was the most important meal of the day, and it's actually the most detrimental meal of the day. Based on the body's circadian rhythm, when you first wake up in the morning, you are in your elimination cycle. That's why when you very first wake up, you go and you have yourself a pee, you have yourself a little bowel movement, or at least you probably should. And then, of course, you've been expelling toxicity all night through the breath, and so that's going to continue to happen until about noon. Okay, that's the typical cycle from 4 o'clock to noon, if I'm not mistaken. So what happens here is we wake up first thing in the morning, we grab breakfast, we're going to grab eggs, we're going to grab toast, we're going to grab a bagel, we're going to grab biscuits, we're going to grab pancakes, then we're going to have meat on it, sausage, ham, turkey, etc. And we're going to have a very heavy meal first thing in the morning, completely disrupting our elimination cycle. When you're looking to prep for a fast, you got to cut that stuff out. Why? Because there's a chemical that is created, it is produced, it's manufactured in preparation for you eating called ghrelin. This chemical is also connected to the hunger pangs that you typically feel when you're fasting or even just throughout the day. Okay. It is not a signal telling you it's time to eat. It is actually your body preparing for you to eat. So if you change the frequency at which you eat as you prepare for your fast, guess what? The body stops producing that chemical. So it's very important that you take some, 4 or 5 days ahead of time, stop eating breakfast. I genuinely think that breakfast is just detrimental, period. I think we should just stop eating it. Next, I want you all to focus on eating your largest meal closer to noon. Once again, we've been bamboozled, hoodwinked. Okay. The idea that we should eat our larger meal at night is probably one of the most detrimental habits we have. Eating your larger meal.
Those of you who have been following me or following my wellness principles that I teach over the years would remember this, that I always say, have your heaviest meal as your first meal, and or what we call breakfast. But breakfast does not mean you have to have it early in the morning. Breakfast is whenever you break your fast. No, it does not mean that you have to have it in the morning. Your breakfast could be in the afternoon, it could be in the evening. It doesn't matter when you have it. It's whenever you're breaking your fast. And that's when you should really have your heaviest meal. It's important because it gives you enough time to burn that off during, your movements and so on, and your body coming out of that fasting stage that it goes into when you sleep, or if you delayed eating early in the morning. It's good to have that meal at that time, not closer to your bedtime, right? So you get more benefit from eating it earlier. So this is what he's talking about here. So this is pretty much stuff that you guys would be really accustomed to hearing. So let's finish here. This is a short, and welcome to the persons who just joined, Michelle and Miss Tatlin. Appreciate you guys being here and taking on this journey. And I hope that you're really at this stage in the frame of mind that you're going to do this. This video is more something we should have played before you started, because it's a preparation video, but I'm still playing it just in case there are persons who did not start tonight but probably will start tomorrow or the next day. It's here so that they can listen to it. All right, so I'll play some more of this and then I'll go to another video. Like I said before, this is from Healthy Alternative. All right.
Towards noon provides a couple different things. It allows you way more time to digest your food before you move into the next phase, the next circadian rhythm. But also, the sun helps you metabolize food. So, eat your larger meal closer to noontime. Doesn't have to be exactly at noon, but between 12 and 4. And then if you can even eat it outside, that's better. Then you eat a smaller meal in the evening. This is an excellent way to prepare for your fast. It once again throws the body off of its typical rhythm, which is always good. And then of course you'll get better digestion overall. The next thing that you want to focus on as you prepare for your fast is portion control. Now, typically what I say is this isn't probably your traditional portion control, because I'm not asking you to necessarily give up the foods that you typically eat. But what I'm saying is I want you to cut the portion sizes in half and then replace the half portion of the bad food that you took out of your off of your plate for that evening. And I want you to put, some good stuff on there, some fresh, some raw food. So that could be a raw pasta made from zucchini or squash, and maybe some nut sauce or something like that. Or it could be a medley of quinoa and bell peppers. And
so here again, the food you eat before fasting, I mentioned this in the beginning of the broadcast. Make sure you're not taking in too much carbohydrate going into the fasting, because it slows down the process and you don't go into ketosis as fast. The idea is that it's best to reach that stage as quickly as possible. So if you had some starch earlier, maybe you could do some light exercise to just speed your metabolism along so that you can burn up that, so that your body will move to a different stage very quickly, right? And you will have more benefit from that. Instead, if there's a lot of starch to be digested, the breaking down is going to take a little bit longer, because you have to break that down first, right? So drink a lot of water, be moving. If you are at work, try to keep your body in motion so you could do whatever. And you're going to do light exercises over the next 3 days. Nothing strenuous, just try to keep moving. Go for a walk. If you have light weights, you can do that too, right? So your body is going to even if you lose weight, you're not supposed to look soggy when you lose weight through fasting. It helps your body to look better. So you don't have to worry about doing strenuous weight exercises and all that, right? When you lose weight this way, your body handles it very well. So you're not supposed to be looking saggy and droopy and tired. You're supposed to look revived, refreshed, glowing, right? So you don't have to think about going to do big lift big weights and do all of that. There are two different schools of thoughts about what happened when you exercise during fasting. But I think the consensus is that you should do some form of exercise. It helps, right? All right. So I want to jump over from this prep video into a discussion that I was listening to earlier with these same guys from this channel, the Healthy Alternative. It's two brothers. I really respect these guys. I watch a lot of their stuff, and I just wanted to share this with you about detoxing. You know, in relationship, the emotional detox. A lot of times we have people in our lives, especially partners, and things go bad, or, as they usually do. And we move on, or we try to move on, and we are kind of held back because we are emotionally attached. And sometimes we can't seem to find our way out of that little tangle. um, but they were suggesting that in the whole process of detoxing, it's not just, and by detoxing we mean fasting. It is not just your physical body that it will affect. It will also affect you mentally. And so be mindful, be aware that you could also go through an emotional detox as you go on these journeys, these fasting journeys, because fasting is just so powerful. It does help your brain a lot, right? And if it gives you mental clarity, then it should give you emotional um stability, or some kind of help, I mean, emotionally, because if it's doing the physical, and there's a lot of brain activity, it should help you emotionally as well. So that those are benefits that we sometimes just overlook, because suddenly you have clarity about a lot of things in your life, and you didn't even realize that it was from the fasting that you were doing. In a lot of religions, they tap into the spiritual aspect of fasting. But for secular people, who are just doing it you know for medical reasons, sometimes they don't really mention the emotional help that you get from fasting. So we just want to tap into that a little bit this evening. I'm going to play some of what these guys are discussing, so enjoy this.
Them is because we're full. And there's this quote that I heard that I absolutely love, and the quote is very simple: empty vessel, sharp mind. And let me say that again for you, just in case you didn't hear it. Empty vessel, sharp mind. Right. And what that basically means is that when we go through periods of detoxing, particularly we're talking about fasting detox, you are releasing or removing from inside of yourself. Right. You're getting rid of, toxins that are accumulating in your fat cells. You're releasing, of course, excess weight. You're releasing inflammation. Right. There's so much that's happening. You're releasing. And a lot of times people talk about like emotions and they don't really understand how to deal with their emotions. And we try to move on. Like, let's say that you're in a relationship, right? And I'll give a specific example because I love to talk about myself. No, I don't, but I'm open about it, right? But somebody was asking me the other day, now that you're divorced and you've kind of you've moved on with life, do you ever think about like sex during that time? And I literally stopped and I had to think about it, and I was like, you know what? And I don't.
I literally stopped.
Like, and I actually tried to even think and imagine what it was like having sex, with my ex at that time, and I couldn't. There was no emotional attachment in that manner. I couldn't make my brain and my emotions connect, right? And it made me realize even more than ever, because we've talked about emotional detox and how that actually works. And then it made me realize through all of this fasting that I've done, through all the work that I've done, through like my mentality and of course fasting, you then release and you break that energetic connection that you had with an ex-sexual partner, right? And that is, and then I started to think about, other partners, and I was just like, there's nothing there. I couldn't recall it. Now I can think about partners that I've had, but I was not able to actually connect emotionally to them like I previously was able to.
That's actually a very interesting point. So, little known fact, if you guys have read my book or listened to my story, you know this, but one of the things that prompted me to start my wellness journey was like dealing with I guess you could just call it a broken heart, but it wasn't like, you know what I mean? I was depressed and I didn't realize it, but it was due to a relationship, and I basically was at my wit's end with this relationship and the back and forth and everything, and my mom had told me to write a letter that I was never going to send, and it would basically just be between me and God. But basically get it all on paper or whatever. Write this letter, and it just started like more of a spiritual journey to help kind of break this bond. But that journey is ultimately how I learned about fasting, and it led me to the outcome that I desired. But it was completely different, right? Like I was going one direction, and then I ended up going a different direction, and I got my outcome. And I didn't even realize it because it happened so smooth. That's just kind of like you're saying.
Right, smooth.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize it was happening until someone specifically asked me about it. And I had to go into my memory bank and try to recall those emotions, and they weren't there.
What a wonderful thing to happen. Sometimes we feel emotionally jammed up, literally bankrupt, jammed up, just clogged up emotionally. And it is very good to hear these two young men talking about releasing those energies, right? Those things that keep you back emotionally, keep you attached to things that don't serve you well, right? And I'm hoping that as we go through this journey, that you will find yourself releasing things that don't serve you well in your life, whether it is attachment to a spouse, attachment to food, attachment to, unhealthy practices, whether it is shopping too much, chatting too much, wasting time, not being productive. You release all of these things that are not serving you well in your life, right? That will allow you to move on. So that when you come out on the other side of this, you will feel sort of grounded emotionally, physically, mentally, right? So that you can move on in a better light. You will be energized, your brain will feel freer. You can, and for those of you who are praying people, I hope that you also pray as you go along this journey, because prayer and fasting goes a far way. It's those two together very powerful, right? So don't just see this as I'm trying to lose weight or I'm trying to make my body healthy. Remember, a part of your overall health and well-being is tied up in your emotional state. So release the things that don't serve you. Release the things that you know are not good for you. Walk away. Walk away pray. Pray for God to give you something better. Be earnest about what you're asking for, but walk away from things that you know will not serve you, things that will keep you emotionally bounded, right? Things that will keep you in the same state. Because if you're kept in the same state emotionally, you will go back to eating emotionally, right? And hence you will continue to be unhealthy. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? If you do not release the emotional things that are binding you, you will not come out being your best self. Because as soon as you finish this fasting, you're going to go back to eating the same things, doing the same things, and be in the same state. So next month, you need another set of fasting again, right? What Michelle is saying here, it makes plenty sense to me. Yes, it does. As you go through this process, pray, identify the things that are you are bounded to, that are keeping you back, because it's the very things that are causing you to be unhealthy. It's the very things that are weighing you down. So see this as a journey, a spiritual journey as well as a health journey, because those two things are not separate from each other. They're all together, right? But I found it really interesting that they were talking about this in the form of, relationship, how those things can keep you back, because you remain bounded to that partner. And if we were to play more into this video, you would hear them discussing more about, sexual relationship with people, how it connects you to the person. And so even afterwards you still have a connection to that person, because there's a spiritual connection that you establish with that person during intercourse and so on. So when you separate from them, you still have that connection, and it weighs, it pulls you, it keeps you back. So all of those things are things that you need to release, so that you can allow yourself to move on, whether it's moving on to another relationship, whether it's just being contented in yourself, whether it's just building up your own self-esteem, and just grounding your own self, right? So I'll probably play more of it over the next few days, because we will be talking a lot over the days. But this 8 o'clock period is when we're going to do most of the talking, because I know some of you people are at work in the day and so on. But just record a video or something and post it about what's going on with you, or you could just write something in the chat section of the group or what, and post it about how your experience is so far as we go through this, because I want everybody to record their experience, so that other people can see and understand how it works. And having it from different persons, not just from me, will give different perspective, so others will be more inclined to try, because they can identify with Michelle or Miss Tatlin or whoever, and their experience. So it's not just coming from one person. I know I probably will do well, because I've done this before. Who knows? I might not, because I was surprised last week when I was doing the fasting and I felt hungry the second day. That was strange. I never felt that kind of hunger when I'm doing fasting. But I try to make sure that, the starch level or starch intake wasn't high this time. So I'm not expecting to experience that level of hunger again, but you never know. So we will see. We will see what happened. But I just want to thank you guys for being a part of this process. And come on, jump in here tomorrow, do a short video, let us know, especially in the mid-morning hours when most of you would have normally eaten. Let us know how you feel going into midday, and just how it's going. If you can get water that are infused with some kind of electrolyte, you can have that. Especially if you see that you're starting to feel dizzy or so. But otherwise, stay away from fruits, stay away from anything starchy. Some people recommend that you have bone broth. I'm not recommending it because to me, bone broth is almost a meal. But if you feel that you need it, you know, you can make your own. Don't buy the one in the boxes because they're nonsense. They might have stuff in there that you don't really want. Yeah, but happy 72 hours fast, guys. My timer is going, so I'll check in tomorrow and let you know what's going on with me. And I hope the others will check in as well. And if you're watching this tomorrow, because today is what, Monday? If you're watching this Tuesday and you want to start Tuesday, go ahead, right? Or you want to start Wednesday, if you're watching it Wednesday, go ahead. There's nothing that's preventing you from starting. Just go ahead, do your some good for your body, right? All right. So take good care, guys. Good night, and see you tomorrow. God bless. Bye.